We need to talk. Self-care theoretically should be a positive thing, right? Like it should mean taking care of yourself, which of course is a good thing. But it seems that all too often, what we now call self-care has become completely the opposite. Self-care has just become the term that we use to justify doing whatever we want, whenever we want, or not doing the things we should be doing. Too tired to cook? Hit the drive-thru. It's self-care. Rough week at work? Skip the gym tonight. It's okay. Go home and drink an entire bottle of wine while watching shitty reality TV. It's self-care. Feeling down in the dumps? Retail therapy, shopping spree, spa day. It's self-care. And to be totally fair, everybody needs a break from time to time. Life is meant to be lived, and sometimes that's going to involve treating yourself to things that you know are maybe not the best for you. And that's okay, because everything in moderation, right? But I think that the problem is that when we call these things self-care, we quickly find ourselves on a slippery slope of justifying what is ultimately unhealthy and self-sabotaging behavior as normal, necessary, and even maybe healthy. And moderation quickly goes out the window. Self-care, taking care of yourself, should mean making the decisions that are ultimately going to lead to you living your best life in the long term, not just doing whatever feels good in the moment without considering the consequences. Self-care should mean setting future you up to have the best life possible. Eating bad food, using alcohol as an emotional crutch, impulse shopping, and just wasting money on things you don't even need, those are all personal choices you can make for sure, but it sure as shit isn't self-care. That's reckless hedonism. True self-care is making the right decision even when it's not the easy or enticing decision in the moment. It's eating vegetables, drinking water, moving your body. It's managing your finances responsibly, saving money or investing your money in things that are actually going to help you to make more money or that are going to improve your health and well-being overall. And speaking of things that improve your health and well-being, I want to take a quick moment to thank the sponsor of today's video, Membrane Solutions. This is the MSA 3S Smart Air Purifier. Living with a shedding dog, I find that no matter how much I vacuum, Levi's fur winds up everywhere. And that's because it's in the air, which causes it to land on every surface and makes it impossible to keep the house clean. I started using the MSA 3S air purifier about 2 months ago and have since found far less dog hair and dust everywhere, and I've actually noticed that my house stays cleaner for much longer. Beyond just terrier tumbleweed, the 3-stage HEPA filter also removes 99.7% of small particles from the air, including dust, dander, pollen, smoke, odors, VOCs, and more in up to 1,500 square feet. It's also great at removing cooking smells, and when I recently had the house painted, running the purifier helped to dramatically reduce the intensity of the fumes. When you first turn on the purifier, it will take a moment to detect the quality of your air and then automatically set the fan speed accordingly, or you can set it manually to your liking. If you have kids, the lock feature stops them from tampering with the settings, and sleep mode turns off all the indicator lights and quiets the fan. Best of all, you can also control the purifier remotely with your phone or smart home system. To get 15% off your MSA 3S air purifier and start breathing healthier air, click the link in the description box below. Sometimes I find myself feeling really tired and really burnt out, and in those moments, the most enticing thing is usually to just go pick up a pizza and maybe some beers and just go home and melt into my couch. But I know that there are consequences to me doing that. I'm gonna feel bloated and gross. I'm gonna be thirsty all night long from the salty pizza. The grease and the beer is gonna make my skin break out, and it's gonna cost me like $30 just for the luxury of feeling terrible. I know a lot of people would just go for the pizza and beer and call it self-care and that would be the end of it, but I know for a fact that doing so is gonna make me feel terrible, and that's not taking care of myself. So instead, on those nights, I go home, and despite being tired, I throw together a quick healthy meal for myself, and when I feel like I have no energy left whatsoever, I put on my shoes and take Levi out for a walk anyways. He must be really out cold because he didn't even respond to me saying that. I've noticed as he's getting older that he sleeps a lot deeper. Before I used to have to spell out the word if I was anywhere within a 100-mile radius of him. My poor old boy. The point is that I know that by making that choice, even though it's not the easy thing to do in the moment, I'm gonna sleep like a baby that night. I'm gonna wake up the next morning feeling refreshed and full of energy and able to spend my day doing whatever it is that makes me happiest. And that really is taking care of myself. Likewise, I sometimes find myself feeling a little bit bored and a little bit restless, and my mind immediately jumps to, hey, maybe I should go to the mall and wander around and find something to buy. And in that moment, that does sound like the fun option. But without needing anything or even having a specific want in mind, simply spending money just because I'm bored and I need something to do would be falling for the capitalistic idea that stuff equals fun, which we all know isn't true. And yes, every once in a while, within moderation, going shopping just for the hell of it is not a huge deal, but the fact is that that dopamine rush is highly addictive. And I think that that's the crux of the issue here. What we call self-care is really just teaching us to chase after never-ending dopamine hits in the form of instant gratification, without stopping to realize that our actions become habits, our habits become routines, and our routines become a reality. When you drink that Coca-Cola, water tastes awful and bland by comparison. Salad seems unappealing compared to French fries. Netflix is an easier choice to make than going to the gym. Buying the thing, whatever it is a lot more fun than going home empty-handed. All those things feel great in the moment, but are they really what's best for you? Are they really self-care? Or are they just the empty calories you've become addicted to without even realizing it? Procrastination is another thing that I often see conflated with self-care. The idea of, hey, don't worry, you can deal with it later. Don't think about it right now. But that work thing that's been stressing you out, or the phone call you've been avoiding, or that tough conversation you need to have with a friend that's just become a giant elephant in the room, hell, even the mundane things like doing your laundry or washing the dishes, those things are not going to go away on their own. While it might feel best to forget about those things and push them out of your mind for the moment, the fact is that they need to be dealt with. And in truth, the longer that you procrastinate, the more they're going to stress you out, the more they're going to weigh on your mind, even if it's just subconsciously, and the worse they're going to become. That awkward conversation is ultimately going to end in a giant blow up. Those dirty dishes will continue to stack up until you have no more room in the sink, or maybe even no more dishes to eat off of. And trust me on this one. Procrastinating on your laundry never feels like a wise idea when you're about to get dressed and realize at the very last moment that you're completely out of clean underwear. True self-care is putting on your big girl pants or your big boy pants and dealing with the thing that needs to be dealt with so you don't have to keep ruminating on it forever. It's having that tough conversation. It's filing your taxes. It's keeping your home organized so you can actually find the things you need when you need them. It's making your bed so when you go to lie down at night, you feel relaxed and calm and at peace in a tranquil environment. When you choose to do what's easy and what feels good in the moment, rather than what actually is in your best interest, all you're actually doing is setting yourself up to have a harder life down the road. Choosing not to exercise while you can means that very soon you won't even be able to. Choosing to always reach for the junk food or to reward yourself with an entire pint of ice cream or an entire bottle of wine, or both, might feel good right now, but it is ultimately going to lead to you having health problems down the road, which is going to feel much worse than whatever it is you feel like you're battling at the moment. And spending your money on useless crap you don't need and can't afford will only ensure you have less money to spend on the things you actually do need, and will force you to have to work more and work longer hours and work when you're older. And why would you want to do that? True self-care should leave you healthy, fit, active, and in a stable financial position when you get older. But our current definition is a fast track to you having your own show on TLC. Hoarders, Intervention, My 600-Pound Life. You pick.
I wash myself with a rag on a stick.
I often watch these shows and I wonder how these people got to the point that they're at. And the truth is that in almost every case, they started at a point of reasonable normality. Everybody who's ever been on Hoarders at some point just had a little bit extra household clutter. Everybody who's ever been on Intervention at some point just liked to have a drink after work, and then 2, and then 10. Anybody who's ever been morbidly obese, 4, 5, 600 pounds, at some point probably just had 20 or 30 pounds to lose. And it's crazy when you think about it like that.
That's my reward!
And I want to be very clear that none of this is intended to be judgmental or some sort of soapbox speech. None of this is me telling you that you can't sometimes make the decisions you want to make just because you want to make them, that you can't sometimes enjoy things just for the sake of enjoyment. You can't be 100% perfect or be on all the time, nor should you strive to be. I'm human too. Sometimes I like to have a glass of wine, and on more than one occasion in my life, I've eaten an entire pint of Ben & Jerry's in one sitting. I'll probably do it again at some point. But like everything, I think it just comes down to intentionality and being self-aware, acknowledging the consequence of what you're doing and deciding if you can live with that choice. And if the answer is yes, then that's fine, but don't tell yourself it's something it's not. Acknowledge fully what it is: a treat, a splurge, a rarity, an unhealthy decision which you're totally entitled to make, but it's not self-care. Anyways, like every video I make, all of this is just my opinions, just my point of view, just my perspective, and I would love to know yours. What do you think of when you hear the term self-care, and what does true self-care look like for you? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video at all, if you found this at all valuable, informative, helpful, or maybe even just entertaining, please go ahead and hit that like button. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. You can also follow me on Instagram at according_to_Nicole. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so via Patreon at patreon.com/accordingtonicole. Links for everything will be in the description box down below. Other than that, thank you guys so much as always for watching. Take care. Can't wait to read your feedback in the comment section. Have a good one. I'll see you next week.